Hey, good morning. Let me just make sure that my my sounds are turned off. You just never know. Whew. It is a cloudy day. You know, it's so funny is I grew up in Seattle, Washington, western Seattle, Washington area, where it just rains for no reason at all. Like you're right on the coast, like 30 minutes from the coast. And I live in St. George, Utah, and it is, holy heck, what, northwestern Washington. Just rain, 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 rain. I shouldn't complain. We've been in a 30-year drought, but we're just not used to it. Anyway, so I hopped on here just on a whim because I just think it's so important as women to know that we belong. This idea of belonging is, if we have a story of how we don't belong, we will see that story everywhere. But the fact of the matter is that we do belong, and I think the hardest thing for us to reverse in our minds is how we belong. And a lot of people don't know that when I say people, I mean like women, find ways that they don't belong. Nobody wants to be left out. Like there's a lot of FOMO, fear of getting left out. And sometimes we don't know when it's important for us to be left out. Like for us to choose not to participate or belong. Belong for the sake of missing out. That they're going to have fun without me. That they're going to forget about me. They're going to make memories that I don't get to be a part of. Have you felt that way? I bet you have. I bet you have. I think we all feel a little left out. I mean, it started clear back when we were little kids and we wanted to go make friends on the playground. Right? And we made friends on the playground. But I remember in grade school that there was one person who was left out a lot. A lot. And I didn't have a lot of self-esteem as a little child. I was just always hoping that I was enough to belong. And I was very lucky in all my years in school to belong to a very fun, the best of friends, best women. They grew up to be amazing women. And they were my safety net, you know? And then as I grew up, meaning I left the house, I made friends. And I've made friends that when we reconnect now, where we go back to right where we left off. But I don't have a group of friends that I talk to, communicate with every day, every week, every weekend. I have not done that. And I used to think I was left out. I used to think there was something wrong with me, that I can't belong anywhere. And honestly, it's taken some work to realize that I belong everywhere. I belong everywhere that feels good to me. And that's the difference in the story of not belonging. Like you see women and they go on these vacations together and they have weekends together and they have big reunions together, and it's just not how my life has turned out, and it's not something that I have sought out actively. I think that's the difference. I think if you really have a high need to be socially engaged all the time, you'll seek that out and you'll find it. But I'm a little bit of an outlier. I love the freedom to think my thoughts outside of conformity, outside of maybe the norm. And if you're like this too, then you may recognize that you are your own best friend. Like you can get yourself out of sticky situations. You can unravel trauma. You can dive deep and have these personal insights that make you go, wow. Like you just, like I've never had that thought before. I've never been able to put two and two together before. Like you're built a specific way. If this is resonating with you, that it's been hard to belong, that you haven't had a group, your people, you know, women that you would call your own. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, I will say that there are phases in your life where you're like, "Woo, I really am gravitating towards having friends this year." That's actually where I am at in my life. I have never had friends, but right now I'm really seeking out, hanging out with people that have bigger plans, that have those higher connections, that want to live Mach 10 with their hair on fire. Like that is so appealing to me. And I love the energy of people that are diving deep. They can do the inner work. They have insights because of it. And they bring something to the table, right? That's exciting to me. Those are the kind of people I'm seeking out. But you know, maybe you're looking for, you know, bunko night with the girls. You know, I'm in bed by 7, so I'm not an evening hang out with the girls kind of person. And I've accepted that about myself. If you haven't accepted your limitations, your parameters, the kind of container that you want to have friendships in, then it's probably going to feel like you don't belong, or that everyone's got something going on but you, or that other people seem to make it look easy and it's hard for you. You know, as an introvert who is also, I can be an extrovert. Like when I'm on, I'm on, but when I'm off, I'm super off. Like I love my little cozy nook and my space to regenerate and, you know, decompress. So if that's something that you notice about yourself, then celebrate it. It's not wrong. I think through the COVID era of isolation, it was so new to everybody. Like we were all working from home all of a sudden, and it was the thing that I didn't know I needed. It was so great to just work from home. I just loved it. It was working smarter, not harder. And I was like, gosh, I was built for this. This is great. But then I noticed that I was so isolated that I needed like an outlet to, you know, move my energy with other people, because we're not meant to be isolated. We're not meant to be alone in the world. So there's a very different idea there between being lonely and being alone. You know, if you feel that your sense of belonging causes you to feel more lonely than alone, then there's some victimitis over here a little bit. So that's not to say that you're a Debbie Downer or anything, but there's I feel left out. That's a different energy than I feel alone by choice. And I can reach out to other people and make friends. Like there's a difference there, that one holds you away from the connection and the belonging that you want, and the other one promotes it, if that makes sense. So recently, super amazing woman, the one that I really looked up to and had never reached out to because there was a little bit of intimidation there. She reached out and was like, hey, you want to go walking? I was like, are you kidding? The answer is absolutely yes. And I think probably the old me 2 years ago or more, I would have been like, that would take away from my freedom to do and, you know, be inspired in the moment, and, you know, all of my learning and study time would interfere. But that invitation, when you feel it here, the invitation is a hard yes. Yeah, you do it. So watch for your life to shift when you're like, I need more women around me to empower me, because like this invitation to go walking was it wasn't just a yes, it was a hell yes. It was like, we're doing it, and I will make time, and it will be different for me, and I will have to put it on my calendar like an appointment. Like I'm gonna have to squeeze it in, if you will. And it started out that way, and now it's not squeezing it in. Now it's like, I look forward to it. Every Tuesday, Thursday, we're on the trail, we're walking, we're like talking about important things to us, and my body's moving at the same time, which for an ADHD brain, that's super important, that I am creating these friendships in ways that move my brain forward, right? So it's really beneficial to move my body as well. So these are the kinds of things that when you feel isolated, if it's holding you back, if it's making you feel like everyone is moving on without you, there's a sadness to that, and you're assuming that you don't belong to that higher level of group. So all you have to do is reach out. And if you think that, well, how come nobody ever reaches out to me? I'm always reaching out to other people. There's several things going on there. You're a trailblazer. You might be a little bit intimidating, and everybody might assume you have it going on because you just have these amazing thoughts that come out, and these amazing, just people are like, wow, so much insight. How come you're getting all that insight? You know, I don't ever have higher thoughts like that, or whatever we're comparing ourselves to, right? So if people aren't reaching out to you, then that's not wrong. And it doesn't mean that you're less accessible. It's just that you're at a place where maybe they've assumed they can't reach, or you seem intimidating to them. So just reach out. Just reach out. You're not unbelonged. And I think that's the difference. People think that they're unbelonged if they don't belong. But maybe it's just that nobody knows you need to belong. And you just need to reach out and connect. So the other element of belonging is you literally can't be unbelonged. You are only belong, and you belong to the greatest group of all, the Daughters of God group. You belong. Everybody's included. Everybody. It's an all-inclusive, all-loving group. So sometimes we're like, yeah, but I don't have a group of friends that I can, yeah, okay. Then you just have to reach out and connect to them. But we all do belong. Nobody is actually isolated. And we can always lean on our Heavenly Father, on Jesus Christ, to bless us with that warm feeling that we are surrounded, that we do belong, that we're completely loved and supported. And when we can get that one right, then the friends group that sometimes shifts, people come and go. You know, you have friends, and then there's a falling away, and then you get a new set of friends, and when you grow and those friends fall away, and then you get a new set of, like, you know, as you grow, your friendship circles will change. But if you know the friendship circle that you were born into, that you were born from, that cannot be taken from you. You will always belong to that one. But the connection we need here on earth, that's just up to you, and you get to decide what that looks like. So we're not waiting for other people to include us. We're announcing we're ready. We want to connect. We want to belong. In fact, I've created a mentorship. I haven't launched it yet. It's coming, but the vision for this mentorship is belonging. It's we all need support, and we all need to be seen and heard. And so to be able to express yourself, to have a voice. But there's a clear direction, a pathway to discover what your purpose is, a pathway to understand who you are and what you want and how to get there. Like, the how is usually the hard part, and finding a group to belong to is the what. So if you can find a group that has all of your what in it, you know, I want to know who I am. I want to know why I am. I want to know when I am, where I am. Like, I want to know all the ins and outs of who I am, because when I discover that, it just makes me understand how I'm built. So that goes back to the very beginning of this live, and that is to say that you are born a certain way. You may not be playing at a level when it's just like go out to dinner with the girls and, you know, it's a weekend thing. That might not be your thing. If you're an initiator, a leader, a trailblazer, an outlier, if you're built for a different purpose in life, then it's going to look, your social belonging is going to look very different. Very different. And you have to accept yourself as you are. So, yeah, look for those groups where you can be yourself completely. 100% authenticity. Like, no apology for not staying up late so you can go out with the girls, or not being able to go to Bunko every Wednesday night, or like there's no need to belong in a group where you'll have to apologize for not being X, Y, or Z. You are enough. You're perfect just as you are. There's no need to change you. It's just accepting those parts of you and the way you operate. So, me as an example, I'm a morning person. My walking partner is in the morning, and it's only twice a week because that's sort of my limit, because the other 3 days a week I want to have options. I want to be able to go work out or do, dive deep in my reading and my studying and my journaling and my scriptures and I want to go do my thing 3 days a week, and 1 day a week or 2 days a week, I'm with a friend, which is where I wanted to start. That's it, and it's perfect. So when you accept those things about you and the parameters that you need, you will belong to the right groups, the friends that can hear you, the friends that will support you, and the friends that don't care if you can make it or not. Meaning there's lots of room for flexibility. Life happens. We can't get too rigid about these things, or it just doesn't work out. Right? So anyway, all that to say, you do belong. You are built for connection. And so knowing the right connections for you, go after those. Oh, and if there's anything that I can do for you, please let me know. If you are interested in the mentorship, the application link is in my profile. And I would love to talk to you about how inclusive this group can be and how we can support you on your journey to find you. So anyway, okay, I hope you have a very connected day.